In my video, A Unique Balance, I discussed how, as a shared soul, we each have our own higher self, but that they are also one. But as I was doing this, my higher self dropped in the words perception entanglement. I had never heard these words together before, and when I looked it up, only two results came up. This happened about 3 months ago, and since then I've been getting a little at a time what perception entanglement is. If you've been awakened to your spiritual journey as a shared soul, you've probably realized that this experience is like none other. And even if you haven't recognized the spiritual journey part of it just yet, you still understand that your experience with this other person is very powerful. So, I want to briefly discuss ascension because looking at how we ascend on our journey really helps us to understand the overall unity of everything. How the things we're being shown and what we're experiencing are actually all interwoven. So, I'm going to use love as my example, though we do experience many other things through ascension as well. First, I saw love in my twin. It was through him that I experienced spiritual love. Then I saw the love I have for my twin. And then I realized that love was in our soul recognition. We experienced that together. And I learned that the spiritual love is actually unity consciousness. And then I pieced that together with understanding that it's also self love. And then I started seeing how it's reflected in other parts of my journey, and in fact, all parts of my journey. I've come to really understand on a deeper level that that love is representative of my relationship with myself as a divine being in this physical existence, which is my higher self, my spark of God within me. And I came to know on a deeper level that everything I've gone through on my journey is intrinsic of my shared soul because we are one soul. So everything to do with my spiritual journey, somehow on some level, involves my twin flame because of our dynamic being one system. Even on the physical level, because the body is made for the soul, so both bodies are one whole. It's not split, it's not half and half, it's not divine feminine in one and divine masculine in the other. I do believe one is the more spiritual twin and the other is the more grounded twin. But I believe that's because we each have our own physical experiences, but when we're balanced, that is part of our soul frequency. Through ascension, I began understanding perception entanglement on a deeper level. I thought about how perception is just how we're aware of things through our senses, like through our sense of smell or sense of sight. And entanglement means it's all one. And this is something that I received as a download earlier in my journey, how we're able to sense each other through our chakras. But this perception entanglement came in as being something deeper. And I've seen where people have discussed quantum entanglement in relation to twin flames. And I haven't read up on that, but I feel like that's kind of an across the board thing, like for everything. And while you could easily look at interactions between twins that way, I feel like that's just for everyone in general and isn't specific to twin flames. That's in everything. But just going by my feels from my higher self, I think that perception entanglement is different in the sense that it's specific to our shared soul, meaning that our soul is experiencing two realities through perception simultaneously, and that's shared between both counterparts. So, the two results that came up when I searched perception entanglement were both concerning quantum computing, and there were two or three things that discussed perception and cognitive thinking, and how that's entangled, which I had also gotten from my higher self when I was questioning if our beliefs come from our perceptions or if our perceptions come from our beliefs. Because I saw different opinions on this, even in the definitions of perception. But I believe it goes both ways. But the video I watched when I first heard the words perception entanglement is by Chris Fields, where he talks about perception entanglement with quantum computing and time symmetry, but to my understanding, he's comparing quantum computing to consciousness. But it was still helpful in some ways, so I'll link that below. But of course, I'm thinking of this from the shared soul angle. So I started looking at things to do with perception and understanding how it shapes our reality. And next time perception entanglement came through, I thought about how our perception shapes our reality and the way that our perception can shape our beliefs. But also, our beliefs can shape how we perceive those things. So it's kind of like it turns inwardly. Does that sound familiar? But that also linked to our thoughts and our words. to meditation and manifesting, which all help shape our reality. This let me know that perception entanglement is more than just sensing what the other is sensing. In watching Chris Field's video, it helped me to better understand that we have the ability to experience events through the other person. And I've experienced a lot of things over the course of my journey, like unexplainable injuries or a fever with cold chills and hot sweats where I don't actually have a fever and it would only last for 10 minutes. And that happened, the time that happened 3 nights in a row at exactly the same time. Very strongly smelling and tasting foods where there's no explanation for it. Like, I knew I was picking up these kinds of things from my other experiencer. But after hearing perception entanglement, that helped me understand the dynamic even more. Even things like suddenly feeling his expressions on my face. I think this is part of our shared perception. And through this perception entanglement, I believe we're shaping each other's realities. And because it's entangled, and I don't want to use the word instantaneous because that implies the nature of time, and time is not a factor. When it's entangled, it's just one. So when something is happening with me, it's happening with him. And much of our perception is stored subconsciously. So it may be that many things wouldn't even be evident right away in the physical, but still be a part of shaping our realities. And I had talked about this on another level in the videos Soul Essence, which was part 11, and Am I in Divine Energy, which was part 19, where I talk about the conscious and subconscious mirroring between the masculine and feminine. So this to me is really astounding information because I feel like it's paving the way to moving towards new earth. And I want to get more detailed with some examples in another video about perception entanglement and the direct impacts it can have on each person. So through more ascension, I came to an even deeper level of understanding. And though it's something I've experienced plenty of times, I didn't have a name for it and I didn't fully understand it. And that's how I can get inside of my twin flames perception because we share this. And I can feel his love for me. It's like getting inside of him as though I am him, feeling his love for me. And the first time this happened, it felt really strange. Beautiful and exciting, but it was strange. But hey, welcome to Twin Flames. And here's the magic. That's shaping our reality for both of us. So just thinking about some of the things I read about perception and how that can be filtered through beliefs, values, cultural background and such, and how that can help to change our conditioning. And that's why I often stress the importance of our words because I believe they do shape our reality. And if you think about it as perception entanglement, you're shaping your twin's reality. And that's how awareness of this ability in our thoughts and words, all being energy, are shared between us. Through this, we co-create as one. And this is a perfect explanation of why when one does something, the other does the same or is of the same energy, or they follow in that same energy, depending on if it comes to them consciously or subconsciously. So often what we can perceive can come through our perception entanglement, like how I can see a tree beyond my house with both eyes, as if I'm the right eye and my twin is the left eye and the brain represents our shared soul. If the right eye is closed, it can't see the tree, but the left one can. Or if the left eye is closed, but the right one is open, maybe it still can't see the tree because something is blocking its field of vision, like the corner of a neighbor's house. But my brain perceives the tree through the one eye that could sense it. So I think this is really, really important. I think in understanding how we affect each other on various levels could be a huge turning point for balancing the shared energy, and that that can manifest in so many ways, and even in ways we might not be able to currently scientifically prove.